Fantasy Football Fallout Defense and Special Teams Edition. We're talking about waiver wire claims. If that's all you care about, waiver wire claims for Week 2 of the NFL season, click the link or the timestamp below. It'll take you right to that section. But for everybody who's familiar with this video, I like to give away awards. I'm giving away my Kicked in the Crotch award. I'm giving away the I'm Watching You award. Now, if a defensive unit, defense and special teams unit really got you in the crotch, comment below. Let me know who kicked you right in the groin. I got one for you. And it's probably the same one that you're going to comment about. I'm also going to talk about, as I always do, the projections. Who did ESPN to project to score in the top 10? Who actually scored in the top 10? And what was the deal with these defenses this week? In a week where defenses really should have been a little bit ahead of the offenses since we didn't have a training camp. A lot of people ask, I will be publishing my projections as well. I always kind of start publishing those to the widest audience around week 3 after I have a couple of weeks of in-season data to calibrate those things, because these are more engineered and geared for daily fantasy profiting. But let's talk about, projected top 10 from ESPN. The ones in white were the ones ESPN got correct. In order: Philadelphia, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, who has not played yet as of the time of this video or the recording of this video, Detroit, New England, San Francisco, Indianapolis, the LA Chargers, Baltimore Ravens, and Cincinnati Bengals. Now, who actually scored in the top 10? The New Orleans Saints was interesting because you wouldn't have expected the Saints to be up here because of basically Tampa Bay's ability to score. You don't think Tom Brady's going to throw a pick six? He did. New Orleans capitalized. You don't expect Tom Brady to throw as many interceptions as a game in that first week as Jameis Winston. I mean, you could have closed your eyes and listened to the telecast, and you would have thought, oh, Jameis must be back there. But they'll get it together. Tampa Bay, they just weren't sharp to start the season. You would have liked to seen it, but it takes a little bit of time for chemistry to develop. They'll be fine. Tampa Bay Bucks will be just fine. New Orleans capitalized the defense. The run defense is always strong. The defensive back showed up this week, bottled up the receivers. Great job from New Orleans. Baltimore, no surprise there, although I think Cleveland is improving. Baker Mayfield missed some opportunities. Credit Baltimore's defense. They were fantastic. Washington, look, they're well coached. Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio coaching them. They're going to be a fixture, I think, in the top 10 this year, so take note. You got New England. They had a lot of turnover in terms of personnel between the COVID opt-outs and free agency. Right back on this list. Now, Miami, I don't think they're the Miami Dolphins of 2019. I think they're a much better team. I like what New England did. LA Chargers was the slam dunk of the century. Joe Burrow's first NFL game action. You cannot replicate game speed in an intra-roster scrimmage or whatever. It's just not going to happen. Chargers throttled. That was just always going to happen, so no surprise there. Buffalo is going to be a fixture in this top 10 all season long. Great job. Kansas City is going to be a season-long fixture here. Now, the New York Jets is interesting. You don't expect New York to finish in the top 10, but Greg Williams generates sacks and he generates turnovers with the way he calls defenses. The New York Jets, you're not going to start them, right? Nobody wants to start the New York Jets unless you're a Jets fan. But they're going to, the way this is going to go, as we do these fantasy football fallouts, I'm telling you, the New York Jets are going to finish in this top 10 in terms of defenses probably 10 times. 8 to 10. Let's call it 8 to 10. More than half. I'm going to go on record. More than half the season, the New York Jets defense is going to be in the top 10 in terms of scoring. Because why? Sacks and turnovers. Even if they give up 40 points, they're going to get sacks and turnovers. It's just how they are. The Seattle Seahawks, look, everybody, the additions they've made, Diggs and Adams, in that secondary that already had Griffin, and was it Darby, I believe, as well. This Seahawks back line of the defense, to go with the speed they have up front and the speed that they have at linebacker, this is a very good unit. They're not as great as they were with the Legion of Boom. Not yet, anyway. But they are very, very good. They are completely back to the point where they should be rostered in every league. If you want a defense that you can just plug and play week after week, and you don't want to stream defenses, Seattle is one that you can pick up right now. I'm telling you, they're going to make a deep playoff run. I said the same thing about San Francisco as soon as I saw them last year. Seattle's the same deal. And then you have the Arizona Cardinals, who played a very nice game against a 49ers team who, by the way, did not have a wide receiver on their roster. I don't know. It was rough go for them. And Kittle was actually hurt for a while too. But credit where credit is due. Arizona's defense is making some strides, making some waves, and I think they'll be pretty solid for the rest of the year. I wouldn't bet on them. I wouldn't have them as a weekly play, but good for Arizona. Now, let's give away that first award of the week, the Kick to the Crotch award of the week. And that award goes to The Philadelphia Eagles. Look, you're playing Dwayne Haskins. I'm not a big believer in Dwayne Haskins in terms of being able to put up a lot of stats. He's still young, still green. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. Just right now where he is in the NFL, he's probably bottom 5 in terms of what I think for an NFL starter. Philadelphia, I know they had a ton of turnover, but they're also a well-coached team. I thought they had more depth, and they played well in the first half, but Washington just came out and took advantage of some opportunities and did well. Philadelphia projected to be the number 1 overall defense according to ESPN. Oof, that was a whiff. Wow. Now the I'm Watching You award, same game. The Washington football team, who, look, they have Rivera, they have Del Rio. Just by that coaching pedigree, you could probably pencil them into, let's say, the top 12 defenses in terms of yards given up. More likely they're going to finish in the top 10, and within a couple years they're going to be a top 5 defense just in terms of yardage. Well, we'll talk about points and everything else some other time, but they're a strong team. Now, add to that Chase Young, who is an all-decade defensive line talent coming out of the draft. They say he's better than Bosa coming out the year before in San Francisco. And then this team had also invested a ton of draft picks in defensive line, so they have a lot of talent up front. I'm not as big of a buyer at linebacker. I'm not as big of a buyer at defensive back, but they're getting better, and they're very well coached. They play in a division that they know well, and I got to say, Washington, they're a team. I still like Seattle more, who I was just talking about. Washington could be a weekly rostered start. By the end of last season, they were playing good defense, too, even before the coaching switch. So they're definitely a unit on the rise. Now, let's talk about waiver wires. I only have 3 on my list this week. Seattle, like I said before, Seattle is a team that is going to make a deep playoff run. They have a lot of speed. I know Atlanta put up some points at the end of the game there. I don't care about that. They will generate more turnovers. They will, they'll probably shut a team or 2 out during the season. They're a very, very strong team, a very strong unit, and you can start them every single week going forward here, I think. Arizona, I like them. I like them particularly this week because they match up against the Washington football team, and I'm not a big buyer on that offense. I think it's going to be interesting because I believe that Arizona's offense right now is better than what Philadelphia showed us this past week. I think they're more mature. They have Hopkins. They have the run game that can get going. Of course, they have Ridley and Fitzgerald as well. Kyler Murray is going to be able to run and extend drives with his legs. So if Arizona can pile on points early, then you put Washington in a position where they have to pass more. That means sacks. That means turnovers. I like Washington. And then Cleveland for the same reason. Now, Joe Burrow, no offense to Cincinnati fans. I like Joe Burrow. I think they're going to be a lot better. But it's going to take Joe Burrow like 4 to 6 weeks to even get used to the speed. The only way, or I shouldn't say the only way, but the Cincinnati started moving the ball against the Chargers when Burrow was using his legs and when the Chargers are playing a little bit looser in coverage. Did they get robbed at the end of the game? If you're a Bengals fan, you think absolutely. If you're a Chargers fan, you think absolutely not. I'm completely unbiased in that. I don't know, man. That push off by AJ Green, that doesn't get called a lot. I'll just say that. Now Cleveland coming in against Cincinnati. Burrow will probably use his legs. He'll be better next week than he was this week. I think Cleveland bounces back. I think they play good defense. I think Griffin gets to him at gets to the quarterback. I think Burrow maybe throws an interception or 2. And I think, these first 4 games, I'm looking for opportunity, and I like teams that are playing Washington's offense, and I like teams that are playing Cincinnati's offense at this point. And then once, quarterbacks, these rookie quarterbacks, like once Herbert starts getting into games for the Chargers, I'll start looking there. But I'm playing the matchup with Arizona and Cleveland, but I also like Seattle as a long-term play. And Washington as well, by the way. I should have included them at least in a number 4. The only reason I didn't this week is because they face off against Arizona. I just don't like the matchup. But long-term, I think they're a nice play for you. So there you go. There's defense and special teams. We did all positions. Check out the Week 2 playlist on Underdog TV. And, we'll be updating and calibrating and projecting basically for fantasy football all week long. A lot of fantasy football goodness. So check it out. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you on another episode soon.